Hi guys, I'm Linda.
And I'm Vicki.
And we are Partners in Crime. We're going to do a little bit of housekeeping now. So if you can, please subscribe and click on the bell notification and you'll be notified every time we do upload a video. Now we're going to do the wine segment. So what do we have today, Vicki?
We have an Australian wine, and we purposely picked an Australian wine because some of our subscribers are from Australia and have asked us to mention the Australian wines. This one is called Insurrection, and I'll tell you, the description is what had me. Let me read it for you. It says that it is intensely ripe, cold climate, fruit aged in oak for 4 months.
That's good.
Tastes like, and this is the part that really is enticing, tastes like plum, chocolate, berries, and spice. So how can you go wrong with that?
You know what, I can, believe it or not, taste a little bit of chocolate in here.
Can you?
Yes. It's very subtle, but...
It is a red blend. So it's really, really good, I think. As you can see,
I like it.
I already started.
Yeah.
But it is really good.
It is. I think we could probably recommend that highly to our viewers. We really like this one. So again, Insurrection. It's a red blend.
Right.
And today we actually look a little different because we had someone come in and do our makeup for us. We have a hairdresser that both Vicki and I go to, and she was nice enough to come in to do our makeup. So you want to talk about...
Right. Her name is Lori, and she is not to be confused with the infamous Lori.
Vallow, but yeah.
This is Lori Remmel, and she is very talented and just a good friend of ours.
Yeah. And
because she did such a great job on her makeup and her hair, we wanted to give her a shout out.
Yes, for sure.
And she also designs jewelry. So what I'm wearing is one of her pieces, and I believe Linda's wearing one of her pieces as well.
It's called Rena's Snapwork. So all of these little baubles at the end you can take out and put other ones in. The one that Vicki has on is not, you can't change that up, but it's still a really pretty necklace. So this is one of the snaps that you can put in there.
Right, it's interchangeable. And if you decide that you would like to see her jewelry online, you can look at Rena's Snapworks at gmail.com.
And I'm going to put all the information for her in the description box as well. So she is in our area, but if any of our viewers are in our area, check her out. Well, it's the Hairbender Salon in Stowe, Pennsylvania. So we'll, like I said, I'll put all that information in the description box.
And this is also one of her pieces. I don't know if you can really see it, but these two little gizmos, snaps at the end, come out, and you can replace them with other types. So it's fun. It's fun jewelry.
Definitely. So any outfit, you can mix and match and have it coordinate with your outfit, which we always love to do.
Right.
So today what are we going to talk about today, Vicki? What is everyone talking about today?
Everyone is talking about the hearing, the preliminary hearing of Chad Daybell. It was... it was unbelievable.
For sure. Yeah.
And so much information and just unbelievable what they talked about and what they discovered. And I just think we can spend a long time talking about all that. And our opinions as well of what went on.
Right.
So what are we going to start with?
We're going to start with day one. So there were a number of police officers that were on the stand from Rexburg Police Department talking about what they saw, that sort of thing. Who else did we have on the first day? We
had David Warwick.
No, he was on the second day.
Was he? I thought
David was on the second. Yep.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
Definitely Melanie Gibb was on the first day.
Yes.
And as well as the second day.
Yeah, we have a Lieutenant Ball who was on the first day, Detective Ron Ball. He was talking about what they found there. David Stubbs, Detective David Stubbs.
There were 3 detectives and a forensic technical person. His name was Mr. Liu. And it was, is he the first day or the second day?
What did he talk about?
He talked about how he analyzed the cell phone data, how he analyzed,
I believe he was on the first day.
was he the first day? Very, very good.
Yeah.
And so knowledgeable. And, you know, no matter how hard the defense attorney tried to trip them up, he couldn't do it. The detectives were amazing.
Right.
And so is Mr. Liu. He's not a detective, but he does work for law enforcement and analyzing all the data. Some of it, honestly, was, you know, beyond me, that I couldn't quite understand all his technical abilities. But very, very good.
I agree. A lot of those witnesses really did a great job on the stand. There were a few things that our viewers, because I did post some of the highlights from the days, from day 1 and day 2, and we had some technical difficulties, so I apologize for that. Some of our viewers did leave comments. I want to give a shout out to Julie V from the Dove. She said, and they didn't touch on this in the preliminary, I guess they're waiting for the murder trial, but she said, JJ, they did find him in pajamas, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so she said it would be very interesting to know what Melanie and David Warwick saw, what type of pajamas JJ was in, if he was in, at Lori's house.
Yeah, that would be
That would say a lot, and I bet you that's going to be part of the murder trial. So thanks for that, Julie. When I read that, I was like, oh my gosh, they did say he was in his pajamas.
He was in red pajamas, apparently.
So
With black socks on. And,
yeah.
His grandfather, Larry, just broke down
when they were describing
the description of how they found little JJ. And just, again,
that was heartbreaking,
just
watching
unthinkable.
his grandparents behind him.
Right.
And, you know, initially when I first saw Chad come out, I thought, well, you know, he just looked whatever. I don't know. He didn't look guilty. He didn't look not guilty. He just looked whatever. But then seeing him throughout those 2 days, I was just like, that man has just no shame about him. He just didn't seem like he was remorseful for anything. I know they're trying to say that he didn't do it, but just to show some sympathy for what happened to these kids, you know? I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I've never killed anyone, so I don't know how I would act. But I just thought that he just... I didn't like the way he looked.
It's very telling, his demeanor. He smiled a couple times and, you know, even chuckled with this knucklehead attorney.
Yeah.
I just really don't like him because he was a bully.
Yeah.
A downright bully to witnesses, and I'm always trying to prove by being that way. Trying to trip them up, I thought.
Yes, that's exactly
and
what
so
their job is, I guess, to do that or to sow doubt in what they're saying. But yeah, nobody took the bait, I don't think. I think everybody did a great job where that was concerned. The first day, I would say, was, you know, pretty interesting, finding out the facts, and, you know, some of it was not... It was hard to listen to, especially finding the children. But the end was, I guess, the compelling part of
the second day?
that. No, the end of the first day when we heard Melanie Gibb. And we did hear also the audio that she taped, that Chad and Lori, when she was talking to them, confronting them about
They're lies.
Yeah, they're lies, and making her the fall guy to say that, not the fall guy, but just the person to say that she had JJ when she didn't have JJ.
Right. But she did initially lie to the police.
She did. And that was a lot. And then the defense attorney was saying the second day, and we're going to get into that later, but just talking about how, well, you lied to the police. Did they give you a plea, or did they
make some kind of deal with you?
Yeah, that's what I meant.
To especially, what is his name? The attorney for the prosecution.
Wood. Rob Wood. He
kept implying that Wood was coaching her on what to say, what to wear. You know, she was good. She stood up to him, you know. I think the second day was a little different, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
But one of the things that really surprised me with Melanie, when she talked about the beliefs of Chad and Lori, and how there were dark spirits and light spirits, she didn't mention zombies.
No, she didn't.
She didn't say that word.
I don't think she says that, though. I don't think I've...
she said it in other interviews.
She has?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I thought she might have said that, not said it, to protect herself in some way. Because if she knew how they felt about zombies, you could wonder, why didn't she come forward sooner?
Well, I think, in saying that, I think she knew that they were saying they were dark spirits, though. And she saw what happened to other people that were considered dark spirits. So that, I take issue with that. I really think she should have expected something. When you have more than one person die, that she said that their spirits had to leave their body for them to move on. How the heck is it going to happen? She knew that for that to happen, they had to die. Right?
Exactly.
That was in their teaching. So I have a hard time believing that she was just like, oh, well, didn't think they did anything like that. As soon as one person dies, I would feel like, all right, something's wrong here.
And I don't want to talk too much about the audio between her and Lori and Chad, the phone call that she made to them. But she said she wanted that phone call to happen to prove her innocence. And just saying that annoyed me.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that you didn't.
What is she innocent of?
Something, right?
What is she innocent? What is she worried about?
Yeah.
So, but I'm glad that did come up and that she did present that video, because
that was big.
Yeah, it really was very, very telling.
I do have the transcript, so I don't know if you... What I found, and we could read some of this if you feel like you want to just highlight some of what they said. I'll give you half of this. Okay, I'm not LDS. I don't think it matters, but I thought just the banter between them was, they were putting in their jabs with a smile on their face and I love you, you know, and the way that they would still put in their jabs, and I'm like, oh, but I love you. I'm like, you people are, to me, that is, I don't know what you call it, two-faced?
Yeah.
I mean, but doing it with a smile, like, does that make it any better?
Yeah.
I guess I'm the kind of person that'll just be like,
like it is.
You know what I mean? But
well,
it's
crazy. Be, you know, part of the LDS teaching, and I don't mean Lori and Chad's beliefs, but you know, all about love and forgiveness and understanding. And I think that's what Melanie Gibb was trying to come off at, although she was telling them, you know, this isn't right. What you're doing isn't right.
No, but they told the police that she had that child, that she had JJ, and they knew damn well that she didn't, and she had no idea where he was. They never told her where he was. They just said, oh, he's fine and he's happy. I'm sorry, that would bother me. That would so bother me, and I could not be confronting someone with a smile and saying, well, you know, I don't like how you did that.
Yeah.
Basically, you know, I'd be like, I don't even know what I'd say, but I probably can't say it on camera, but it's, I just don't get it. I can't say it, but no, I don't get it. I just don't. It was very, I'm like watching this, and the way that you don't watch it, you just heard it, but it was, wow.
Well, when Melanie, and I can't find it in the transcript here, asked about, is he okay, basically? Is JJ okay? Mm-hmm. And I wish I could find it. But she said, yes, and he's safe
happy.
and he's happy. Now, I think maybe in her sick mind, in releasing the spirit, the dark spirit that inhabited JJ, that she thought, yeah, he's happy now.
Yeah.
He's happy
that's exactly
and he's
what she
safe
meant.
now.
Right.
So I believe that is where that was coming from when she said that.
Yeah, and then
And
when Chad was talking about Tammy, and she was just getting sicker and sicker, no one ever said that.
no.
They said she was in perfect health. She was trying to get ready for a marathon. So, yeah, if you're drugging or if you're poisoning her within a week, she's probably getting sicker, and you know, so.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know if you poisoned her, but that would make you start going downhill.
yeah, and the autopsy results still haven't been revealed
No.
yet. And I wonder what they're waiting for.
At this point, all they're being charged with is, and I guess we should say this since this happened today, that Lori, for, what did she do?
She waived her
There you
preliminary
go, waived.
hearing.
I'm sorry, having a hard time coming
She
up with
waived
words.
it because I'm sure her lawyer told her to do so because of what happened with Chad at his preliminary hearing. And basically, a lot of the information is going to be the same for her as it was for Chad. And, which means now she'll go right to the district court where they do the arraignment. And the arraignment is basically where they plead guilty or not guilty.
Okay.
So that's the next step. So Chad went through the preliminary hearing so that they could say, yes, this evidence warrants a trial. So that they would then move up to the district court where they could plea innocent or guilty. Or not so much innocent, guilty or not guilty.
Right.
And then from there, the actual trial will begin.
Did see today's Thursday, I did see Nate Eaton did post an interview, a little brief interview with Melanie Gibb, and she did say, not that this is a highlight, but she said if I have to say there was a highlight to all of this, it was meeting Kay and Larry.
Yeah.
She said they are wonderful people, and she was very happy that she got to meet them. So
Yeah, and they don't seem to hold anything against her. So
which, you know,
Yeah.
they could.
they could absolutely.
They have every right to.
Yeah. Because she was part of this crazy cult. And although she doesn't call it a cult, but she was initially.
Yeah, she was a big
Yeah, and she did believe the
lighter
things
in
that,
this.
that Chad was saying
about
his
beliefs
visions
and everything.
and everything else.
Yeah. There was also video cam footage or body cam footage from one of the police officers with Lori. That was pretty interesting as well. He came to her house and she basically was saying, oh, well, we just talked to two guys and, you know, I think one's your brother. She's like, oh, yeah. And the police, he knew who. You could hear it in his voice, like he knew who he was going to, who this person was, because he knew that they were married. And he's like, oh, and he was with a friend or something. She's like, oh, or he was with another guy, and she's like, oh, yeah, that's his friend. Oh, what's his name? Chad. And then he was saying, oh, she said he's an author. And he said, oh, the other guy said, oh, is that the Chad Daybell, where the one that his wife just died? And the other officer didn't know anything about it, apparently. But he's like, yeah, he has a couple daughters, doesn't he? And she's like, oh, he has lots of kids, you know. But she acted like she had no clue. And
they were already married at that point.
They did, and I know the police knew that.
Yeah.
So that was another interesting, and she just was complaining about, I don't know why people are coming here. You know, we're trying to keep my son away from Kay, and my brother and my ex-husband, or, well, my husband were trying to kill me. And which brother is this? Do you know? He lives in Kansas. So is that Eidam?
I think it's Eidam.
Probably Eidam.
I don't think
might
there's
be
another brother, is there?
I think there are. I think there were 6 kids. So we'll find out for you, but I think it was probably Eidam. He seems like he's pretty normal, at least. I've seen video of him. He's on a radio station, and
I can't imagine how he would feel if she said, he's trying to kill me. I'm hiding out. I'm moving so many times, is what she said. Yeah. Because he's after me.
And then I'm going to move in with my friend Melanie. Don't tell anyone, Gib. I'm sorry. I was like, don't tell anyone. Here's her last name.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh. She totally wanted you to say something to people, but, you know, she is just Lori. That's what you have to say. She's one of a kind.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was pretty interesting. Like I said, the most compelling part was Melanie's testimony at the end and her audio of the call that she had taped with Chad and Lori.
Right.
And I think they were probably going to Hawaii, because she said, are you guys in Idaho? And they said
no.
Yeah, they're far from it or something.
They're nearby.
Hanging out. Are you in Idaho? We're nowhere near Idaho, so I think that's when they were probably on their way to Hawaii, maybe. I didn't put the timeline together.
Yeah, I'm confused about that. But I think, for me, the most compelling part of the first day was the detective who had to uncover JJ after he found him when they dug up the grave. And he had said, described what he found, and he said he had to tear open the black bag, he called it. It's kind of like a trash bag. Yeah. And then he removed the white bag from JJ's head. Mm-hmm. And he said the hair fell into his hand when he removed the bag. And oh my God. I mean, I just couldn't really hold it together at that point. And I'm watching Larry's reaction to this. The grandfather, Larry, was just, he just broke down completely when they were talking about that. And my heart just goes out to him. He's just so affected. Well, who wouldn't be, I guess. But.
And when they were talking about Tylee, and they figured out, they said it was just a mass. Like, they couldn't even figure out what it was. And then they moved that, and they saw this green bucket that was melted, and they did see the skull, and a partial skull.
And burnt flesh.
Yeah, and the teeth. So that's how they knew that that's all the other
And you gotta wonder, why such a significant difference in how they buried them and how they hid their bodies. And, you know,
they probably tried to do the burning and getting rid of everything, and they knew it couldn't work, so then they figured JJ, they're just going to have to.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe that's
it was harder than they thought.
Yeah, that could be it.
Yeah. So there was also something else that they were talking about. Oh, the defense attorney prior was trying to say, well, you know what burnt flesh smells like? It's a horrible smell. You'll never forget that, and all that kind of thing. And he was kind of trying to place doubt as far as that that they were burning Tylee there. He was trying to say, well, how many people are around there? How many homes are around there? Like, they would have smelled this.
Right.
He was they could have done this somewhere else and brought her back, so that, yeah, they might not have done it on the property. They could have done it somewhere else and then brought it back.
The other thing that he tried to bring a lot of doubt on was the whole raccoon story, where Chad fired a gun. They heard a gunshot. Well, I don't know who heard it, but he fired a gun, and he said that he killed a raccoon.
Right.
And he emailed or texted
Tammy
that he did this, and that he buried it in the pet cemetery, and he was going to burn limbs. No pun intended. He's going to burn limbs because of trees and whatnot, because there was an approaching storm. But the defense attorney was arguing about, well, how do you know how big, because they didn't find a raccoon. How do you know the boundaries of that cemetery, that pet cemetery? Did you dig up the whole yard? Did you dig up the whole property?
The whole cemetery.
Right.
Like, it's supposed to be this big. You only dug this little piece up. And he's like, well, that was my section. So he basically said there were other people digging up other parts. They only asked me to come in.
And I think they had cadaver dogs, one there at least, that could identify an area. And there was some kind of equipment they also used, and I forget what it's called. Some kind of equipment, not to dig, but to survey.
Oh, yes. So they were taking video. Yeah, there was
like
some scanning.
Yeah, so, he this defense attorney, he was so annoying with all that. Arguing over ridiculous things. And if he said one more time, quite honestly, Your Honor, I wanted to reach in. I think I have a right.
Yeah. One thing I thought was funny, and this happened both days, and Rob Wood was guilty of this as well. They couldn't hear them. I'm sorry, but they'd be able to hear me. I don't know why they were so quiet. I was like...
Well, I think that was another tactic that this defense attorney was doing.
Well, Rob Wood was quiet too. They had a hard time hearing him sometimes too. Right. So,
but the judge had at many times said to Pryor, "Can you speak, Ben? Turn the microphone." You know, and he would just sit back again.
Yeah.
He kept doing that, and
this isn't his first rodeo, so
yeah.
It could have been a strategy.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was.
Yeah. But that's basically what happened on day one. Some of the stuff in the transcript between Lori and Melanie and what they were talking about was, obviously we don't know it because we're not LDS. We don't know what they're talking about. But, it still gets me how they were back and forth, like digging the knife in and then, saying, "Love you.
Yeah.
Here you go. Does this hurt?" So it was just trying to think. There was other things that Melanie was talking about when she was on the stand, and
well, the other thing that the Pryor, he's from that area. We know that there's a very large population of Mormons,
Mm-hmm.
LDS people in that area. He was he was acting like he was clueless about what LDS is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that would be possible if you're there, you live there, and you're surrounded by all of those people.
Mm-hmm.
And that, to me, that was just another way of trying to confuse them, trying to, get them to say things that he could use against them at some point.
Yeah. And then Chad was trying to say to Melanie in the phone call as well, well, Tammy's sister was trying to tell her this stuff too, these dark stories, and you're probably listening to her. And there was someone else he brought up, and she's like, I don't even know these people.
Right.
So why are you saying that I'm listening to these people and I have their theories? I don't even know them. I don't even know their name. So, and David Warwick, they were trying to say her boyfriend was putting ideas. Both Lori and Chad were saying that. So,
yeah, I was happy to hear though that Tammy's sister is worried.
Mm-hmm.
That she is, trying to understand what happened to her sister.
Yeah.
And apparently she must have said things, although I don't know what she said, but about him being responsible for her death. And that's why he said, apparently you've been listening to her, Tommy's sister.
Right. And Melanie has no idea
She
who
knew
these
what he
people
was
are.
talking about, yeah.
So, but I think you have anything else that we want to talk about for day one?
I don't think so. If we have, please let us know if there's anything that we should be mentioning that we're not. It's just a lot of information.
Yeah.
And, we'll definitely talk a little bit more about the second day of the hearing.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, just give us any feedback that we might be missing. We would really appreciate it.
And we'll say goodbye for now then. Bye.
Bye.
Hi guys, it's Linda. I just wanted to give you some updates that happened after we did film our latest video. And this is from Eric Grossarth of EastIdahoNews.com. The latest on Charles Vallow's death and when charges could be filed against Lori Daybell. So it's from Chandler, Arizona. Police in Arizona will eventually ask prosecutors to file charges against Lori Vallow Daybell in connection to the 2019 homicide of her former husband, Charles Vallow. Chandler Police spokesman Sergeant Jason McClemens confirmed to EastIdahoNews.com that detectives plan to submit their case to the Maricopa County Attorney's Office, but still have a ways to go in their investigation. Our detectives are still going through active search warrants and subpoenas, McClemens said. The charges against Vallow could vary and are up to the prosecutor, but police indicate a conspiracy to commit murder charge is possible. This case is a marathon, not a sprint, Chandler Police Detective Nathan Duncan told EastIdahoNews.com. We are conducting a very thorough investigation to determine the truth behind the murder of Charles Vallow. In July 11, 2019, Vallow walked into the Chandler home where Daybell lived with her two children, Joshua J.J. Vallow, 7, and Tylee Ryan, 16. An altercation followed, according to Alex Cox, Daybell's brother. During a fight that reportedly involved a baseball bat, Cox pulled the trigger of his handgun. The bullet struck Vallow multiple times, killing him in an empty living room. Cox called 911 and said, I got in a fight with my brother-in-law and I shot him in self-defense. Body camera footage shows dozens of first responders rushing to the home. Daybell returns to the home and is seen smiling on police body camera footage. We just moved in here, Daybell told an officer. That's why the neighbors don't know us. I'm like, hi neighbors, sorry. In the months following the death of Vallow, Tylee and JJ disappeared and their mother married Chad Daybell. Cox died in December of natural causes, according to the Maricopa County Medical Examiner's Office. His death is still under investigation. Tylee and JJ's remains were found buried on Chad's Fremont County property on June 9th. Since the grim discovery, the Daybells have been charged with felonies. Lori is facing 2 felony counts of conspiracy to conceal, alter, or destroy evidence in Fremont County. In Madison County, she is also charged with misdemeanor resisting or obstructing officers, criminal solicitation to commit a crime, and contempt of court. She pleaded not guilty to the misdemeanor charges and waived a preliminary hearing on the felonies. Chad is charged with 2 felony counts of conspiracy to conceal, alter, or destroy evidence. Prosecutors also charged him with 2 felony counts of concealment, alteration, or destruction of evidence. He will appear for an arraignment on August 21st to enter a plea. I also found on Justin Lum's Twitter account, Justin Lum from Fox 10 News, a list of possible witnesses in Lori Vallow's preliminary hearing. We have some of the same detectives from the Rexburg Police Department: Ron Ball, Ray Hermosillo, Dave Stubbs, Chuck Kunasides, Dave Hope, Rick Schmidt, and Randy Reese. There are also an officer, Kellen Wetton. There's a detective from the Kauai Police Department, Detective Chad Cataluna, also from the Gilbert Police Department and Chandler Police Department as well. Ryan Pilar was Gilbert, and Nate Moffett was a Chandler Police Department. Melanie Gibb was part of that, David Warwick, Chad Daybell as well, which is pretty interesting. Julie Wilcox, Larry Woodcock, Kay Woodcock, Adam Cox, Zachary Cox, Brandon Boudreau, Melanie Pulowski, Ian Pulowski, Leah Bernard, Seth Bernard, Chris Smith from the National Park Service, and Deputy Chief Ranger Chris Flesh from the National Park Service, Sidney Woodbury, Travis Homer from the FBI, Ricky Wright, and Michael Douglas also from the FBI, Mark Sari from the Social Security Department, he's an investigator, Jason Gwillam, I apologize if I get that wrong, but another crazy witness is Colby Ryan. Also, Chad's mother and father, Jack Daybell and Shirley Daybell. Second grade teacher, Teresa Christensen. Joshua Wilson from Kennedy Elementary School. He's the principal. Randy Lords from Madison School District.